Hey Sean, hopefully you can hear me.
I can hear you, LA. How are you?
Great.
Good.
Are you at home? What
Oh,
hotel are you in?
oh my gosh. I just got home from another very long trip.
Oh,
It's just been really the last 2 months, we have just been out straight. We are down a couple of pilots that um, we're in training and we're bringing on a new airplane and yeah, it's just been, yeah,
so when you guys bring on a new airplane, obviously new training because it's not the same as you've had,
correct.
like you're not like Southwest that just buys the same damn airplane.
Well, it's funny. To some degree, we are because we have a five airplanes that are the same, essentially the same.
Hmm.
They're all Gulfstreams, but the one of the owners wanted a bigger airplane, so they just bought a 737. So that's a Boeing. That's a totally different animal. And we've sent five pilots to school on that airplane to fly it, but it's not enough with the way he travels. I'm not really sure how that's all going to play out, but and of course now with the government shutdown, we're right up against the FAA certifications this month, none of which are going to happen. So the owner is frustrated, and we've parked two maintenance guys. They've rotated each other in Basel, Switzerland, where the interior is being done. So it's a big,
Wow.
huge furball. So one
Wow.
of the I loved your Voxer content there. You said two things we should do, audience, what to think, what I want my audience to think and feel and believe after my briefing, and then what do I want out of it. And so what I did was I added a new slide deck this morning to the Dropbox because I completely revamped the way I'm presenting everything based on your outstanding advice. So I've decided to switch my safety management system update, which is going to be a standard quarterly thing. I move that to the very front of the presentation, and then all of my quote unquote hot topic safety related items that are kind of existing out in the world of aviation safety are going to be how I'll kind of finish up the presentation because it's less important to me that the audience gets any of that really. It's more important
Hmm.
to me that they get how we are doing and how our safety system is holding up against, decreased resources, increased demand, new airplanes, contractor usage. And so in addition to that, I added a summary slide between the two portions of the briefing. So I really appreciate that help. And I think it's going to make for a much better presentation. I think it's going to be a better way for me to roll this data out every quarter too.
Good.
Yeah.
Good. Okay, I'm gonna
And
make
my
you a
desire.
co-host
Yeah.
just in case you want to share. Okay. Your desire.
Okay. Great. How are you doing? Everything
I'm
good?
good. I'm
Yeah.
good.
Enjoying the
I've been
beautiful
like
fall we're having?
it is kind of nice. I mean, it's a little rainy
Yeah,
up
today's
here in New Hampshire.
yeah, same here in Connecticut.
Yeah.
Not as good today, but man, the weather here has just been gorgeous.
It's yeah, this weekend was wonderful. Absolutely wonderful. Okay. Were you I've been like, where's Sean?
And me too. Makes two of us. Yeah.
Yeah, I knew that you were busy and
Yeah.
getting all
No,
this
no.
stuff done. When is your presentation, by the way?
Thursday.
Thursday. Okay.
Thursday evening at 5 p.m. East Coast, 2 p.m. West Coast.
It's like the unveiling of the new Sean with the
I
new
hope so.
presentation.
I hope so. I think I'm going to
Okay.
be more relaxed at the very least,
Yeah.
you know.
Yeah.
And I think I'm hoping that I'll do a good job of slowing down, being more intentional, trying to get the least amount of words out of the slides to convey what I really want to convey. I've just been too wordy and too rushing and I've been getting the information out there. I think that people appreciate it and, you know, it's difficult because safety is one of those kind of eye rollers in the aviation world, huh, okay, another safety brief. They're going to tell me how to be safe. Okay.
It is in any industry, I think.
Exactly. And I get that. But, I'll tell you, with the advent of the amount of data that we now can collect, it's making it more interesting because we can actually, no kidding, we get a daily snapshot of how we are doing safety wise. where you didn't get that even as recent as 5 years ago. The integration of apps with our flight recorder data, I mean, it's amazing. So it's making it more interesting and it's making it more safe and it's making it more relevant because guys can go on there and go, oh yeah, I was high there. Oh yeah, I landed long here, whatever. So yeah.
Okay. What would you like to focus on today?
I don't know. What do you think? Based on our third meeting here, what do you think would be a good use of time today?
Okay, first I would love to, I think, go over the couple of slides that you added
Okay.
and also the ending because we haven't
Okay.
really talked about the ending. We talked about the beginning. And then we can just kind of like jump to the ending, how
Okay.
you're going to end the presentation. And then I also think it would be a good idea for us to just to talk about how you are going to personally debrief after
Okay.
Thursday night. Okay. Just so that
Personally.
like we don't wait until like we meet again. I would love
Okay.
for you just to like think about it either right away,
Okay.
like here's what I wish I had done.
Okay.
Here's what I know went really well. Here's where I'm just like, I'm not sure about that. And then maybe even think about it again the following morning.
Are
And
these things that you want me to write down or that you want me to write to you about it?
you
Just
can,
for me.
we're definitely going to go over it.
Okay.
But I guess the point is like to do it right away. And then also just kind of like go to bed, the next day if you're still around on Friday morning at home and just have a couple of minutes, like while you're sipping your coffee, look over those notes again. And because it's not, you've had some time away from the presentation, is everything that you wrote the night before true? Do you still feel like, I wish I hadn't done this? I think I felt like I rushed a little bit. Um, just kind of like almost you're evaluating your evaluation. And since you've had also some time, it also, like, what else comes up for you? And that's what we'll end up talking about because that's how you get better.
Excellent.
And my friend Steve, who's going to do an opening for you, I
You-
don't think you'll have it for this
That's
Thursday,
fine. Yeah, that's
but
fine.
because I think I've thought about this and seeing how you've put so much effort into this new presentation time, I almost want this to be the emphasis.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
then next time you can sort of surprise them with this.
Okay.
And I'm going to see if I can get Steve to do a couple of them. That way you can just rotate them and, like it's no big deal to reuse them again and again, especially if
Amazing.
it gets everybody laughing.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think, based on how things are going right now, this third quarter has been tough for us all. I think we're all kind of feeling wrung out and kind of like, are we kind of at the max here? I think, I'm hearing from the dispatchers team, I'm hearing from some of the pilots, I'm hearing from some of the flight attendants that we are the classic definition right now of doing more with less. And
Mm.
again, that's going to be somewhat better because now we have two of our pilots back that were in training for the last 6 weeks, but they went to training at a time where we just saw a total increase. The other underlying tension here is the fact that they've put a freeze on hiring. I don't know why that is. So, the atmosphere right now with regard to, you know, and I'll show you this in my summary slide. I want to acknowledge that we are kind of in a rough spot right now, and that's true. But the professionalism, um, the team player attitude, the safety parameters that we have in place are kind of allowing us to gut through this period, and we can kind of hope that it's not going to be sustained, but that and if it is, then maybe that's a different discussion. But if it's not, this is why we have safety. This is why we have things written down and procedures to fall back on. And we had to do two waivers last week because of extension of basically a crew day. So basically, we're only allowed to fly for 14 and a half hours. And that means that 14 and a half hour clock starts the second you show up at the airport and the clock is ticking. You needed to be on the ground 14 hours later because your day ends a half an hour after engine shutdown. So it's really more like 13 hours of time where you get to maneuver that airplane, right? And then, so we added an extension to 16, almost 16 hours for one crew on the backside of a night where they got less crew rest than they were supposed to get. So you're supposed to get 12 hours prior to your flight. These guys got 10 and a half hours. Then they went on to fly a 16-hour day. That is bad. That is, there's just no way around that is bad. Now we waived it. The crew was comfortable doing it. It was real-time decisions were being made. Are you guys okay? They found out, they actually found another crew to meet them in, oh gosh, where did they land? Oh, they landed in LA and they were going to fly up to Sonoma. And so they found another crew out on the West Coast to take the very last leg of the trip, which unbelievably was still on the schedule. But it's just, we're just right up against it right now. And
Yeah.
making it more difficult is the fact that the owner has decided to not hire any more pilots, and we need more pilots. We have taken on one of his chiefs in his company. She's the lead attorney slash CEO, I guess, of their kind of sub LLC called Hillspire. And she has recently started, they have started granting her access to the airplane. So that is essentially now another person that we're flying weekly.
Yeah. Yeah.
That means three, four, five more flights every, 2 to 3 weeks for her alone.
Yeah.
Okay, so that would require more pilots. And then in addition, we're bringing on this Boeing, and we're not selling any of our previous 5 airplanes. So we are going to have 6 airplanes and an additional principal to fly with no word on hiring. That's not going to stand up well. That's not going to, and at some point that needs to get addressed. And I feel like I'm going to broach the topic briefly in my summary by acknowledging
Hmm.
that that's where we're at. But again, I'm not management, so I have no dog in the fight in terms of these decisions that are being made. So it's a
Yeah.
difficult kind of balancing act to walk, if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
So
I hear what you're saying.
yeah,
It's almost like, what can we do inside the presentation?
to, to, address these concerns, to address the
Yeah.
fact that we are doing
Yeah.
this now. We are having more and more waivers for crew day. And, part of this waiver process that we have in place is to track them and to then hopefully take action and say to, it's data point collection, right? And our guy he's a data-driven guy. So if you say to him, look, last year we had no waivers, and just within the last 8.5 weeks, we've had 3 for crew day and crew rest because of you. And it's actually because of him specifically. No other principals end up putting us in
Hmm.
this position, but he does. And I don't know. All I can do is collect it, I guess, and say, heck, this is where we're at. We've had these a number of waivers, and it's up to the managers to drive those data points to make decisions that'll hopefully help us. But right now, I kind of feel like people are just a little bit beat down,
Tired.
tired and beat
Yeah.
down.
Um, and what happens if you have too many waivers?
Well, that's a good question. The first question is how many is too many, right?
Hmm.
We don't have a number because you're not supposed to waive policy. You're supposed to operate within the guidelines of that policy, and um, the director can waive it in certain circumstances that require that to be waived. But I guess when you start to see more and more, you really have to question. Like I heard one of the crew members say, "Well, we're either gonna have our regulations, or we're just gonna crumple them up and toss them in the trash. Because if we keep waiving them, then they don't mean anything."
Yeah.
So I think waivers should be taken seriously, and they are. And it's a
Hmm.
process, and it's documented in our safety management system that this was waived on this day because of these reasons, and it was approved for these reasons. Um, Beyond that, it's a really good question. I don't know organizationally if we have that capability, you know?
It's almost like it needs to be like to not have like to become part of the culture
Yeah,
that we just don't have waivers
right.
because it's keeping your best asset is your people. I have another client who is basically talks about corporate culture and
Right.
how to maintain your people because your it is your biggest asset for any company is your people. Because
You
every
know,
time
that's
you lose somebody, every time you lose another pilot, like think about like the time that it takes to replace them, to train them, to get them up to I mean, like that's a huge expense.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah. That's
Totally.
something you might want to consider like tracking and just evaluating for yourself so that if the question ever, like when you, in the event that you have to broach this subject with him, that we need more pilots, because if we don't and we lose one pilot, this is what it's going to cost us financially and also emotionally and culturally, just like what are all like the not just the stuff on paper, but also the stuff that the emotions behind everything.
Yeah. Um, it's that's really good. And I'm writing those all down. And I might
Intangible, that's what I was thinking of, those
intangible.
intangible benefits.
Yeah, because when you have an employee, that employee signs up and joins the team and operates under the agreement laid out in our operations manual. And if we just don't adhere to that, if the management just says, well, yeah, you can waive that and does it frequently, doesn't mean anything.
And think about like when you're interviewing for a position, that's like dating, like those first couple of
Yeah.
months, like everybody's on their best behavior. And this is what we're like. When my
Right.
husband was interviewing for a job a couple of years ago, I told him, I said, ask people, what's the culture of the company? Because barely, and he was like the response that he got was nobody ever asked that. And he's like, and what do you wish the culture was?
Yeah.
It's like, here's what it really is, but here's what I want it to be.
Right.
And
Okay.
you're part of that. You're part of
Yeah,
creating that
totally.
culture with the whole with safety.
Yeah. I
Um,
mean, yeah, I mean, my job is to monitor the system and to kind of track when we have issues. And these waivers are if you look at we had it's the same thing, reduce crew rest and increase crew day. As we've seen it now 4 times in the last 2 quarters. So whereas the previous 6 quarters we didn't see one.
yeah.
So something's changing. That's a big deal. I mean, yeah, it's only three or four waivers, I guess, but that's, you know,
Still,
yeah,
like
that's a
how many
lot
times are
compared.
you guys flying? Like what's the
Oh,
percentage? I mean, is that like 2%, 3%, 5%?
hard to say in terms of our flight hours
Mm,
as a comparison, because we fly a lot of flight hours and we have been increasing those flight hours each month and each quarter from what our dispatchers say for the last 5 years. Ever since COVID, we have seen a steady increase in the hours each year that we've been doing, and we have not hired more, additional pilots. So
good data.
yeah, I'll have to chase that
Keep
down.
track of. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay.
So
All right,
I'll
let's
fill
do the
in.
beginning.
You want to do the beginning?
Yeah, because you
Yeah.
said that you added a new slide.
I added a slide between the two sections of my brief, which is the
Okay.
the hot topics and the SMS review, but I also switched them. So I took all the slides that were my SMS stuff and I brought them to the very top. So that's the way.
Okay.
And again, thank you because I was just kind of like, do I want to do that? Um, I don't know.
Yeah, we're taking our audience on an experience.
Yes.
That's
Yeah.
what you are creating as the speaker. You are creating an experience for everybody who's in the room.
Right. Let me see here. I'm going to share my screen and I'm going to do this one. Share. Okay. Can you see?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, let's just pretend like this is Thursday night.
All right. Thursday night. Welcome everyone to our quarterly safety meeting, uh, brought to you by myself, Owen, and Chris. At the beginning here, I'm going to have Todd and Jason give a quick couple of remarks. I will then jump right into our standard safety management system update. And you can see the items here below. The green are what I want you to take away. We had four safety reports this quarter, two policy deviation waivers. We have one pending still from Portugal, and we've had no ASAP reports. I'll then jump into my hot topics, talk about a lot of the meetings that I've gone through and forums over the last quarter. Couple of really good data points I want to share with you guys from that. And then just a review of my upcoming goals and items. I think we did a good job in Q3 about lessons learned. We had the lessons learned in there, which also goes hand in hand with the read and initial process about the hotel safety, which we addressed last quarter. I think I've been doing a good job as well on more timely responses to the safety reports, if not submitted anonymously. And we're going to talk a little bit about the nuisance emails going on, stop versus yield, and then continuing on with our, I'm going to have a couple slides in there just to talk about the filing an alternate airfield there to help with some of the other kind of nuisance emails that Vocus kicks out. So we'll get all that stuff done today. So jumping right into the update, we've had the first safety report in Q3 was we had a crew member had her safe completely removed from her hotel room. So she was coming back from dinner and noticed that the door was open and the cart was out in the hallway, and she thought that it was housekeeping doing a turn down service. And when she went into her room, it was clearly that a lot of her stuff had been gone through. And so she got out of the room right away, which is outstanding, went down to the front desk and had some other employees escort her to her room where they found the entire safe removed from her room.
Can I
Luckily,
just say, holy poop?
yeah, and they were at a really nice hotel in northern Italy. It was a gated compound, five-star hotel. It was not a Marriott property or another big franchise, but it was by all accounts, a very, very safe hotel. And it was clearly an inside job. They used the key card to get into her room. They had the time that the person entered, and they just ripped her safe out. So luckily, the only thing that she lost was her passport and her earbuds, which she threw in the safe, I guess, which they replaced.
Wow. I've
So
never heard of that before.
yeah, that's a weird one.
Yeah.
But it gave us an opportunity to review how, we take care of each other on the road. Should we be walking each other to our rooms when we're, later at night? All those things that kind of brought back to the forefront for us. And I created a lessons learned in Vocus to deal with some of those items that are easy to forget in our day-to-day lives as we go through and travel all over the world. So again, the mitigation efforts we used, trying to get crews on the same floor if we can, and so people just kind of make sure everybody's good when we come back from dinner later at night. Extra attention given to our surroundings. Just keep an eye on what's going on out there. Make sure that you're doing all the safe things you can. That might include just bringing your passports and valuable items with you if you're in a foreign country that you might even have a question. Just bring them with you to dinner. Clearly, if they're going to take the safe, they're going to take the safe. And then we published a lessons learned. I published a link of the hotel on that lessons learned, so everybody knows where it is, and that'll be a do not use from here on out, because we do suspect it was an inside job kind of hotel staff that might have gained access to that room and done what they did. So there's also a great link to an information article in there about international hotel safety as well. The second one we had this quarter was for the PC-12 heavy takeoffs. We put a lot of effort into this. We had a concern with the climb rate taking off late afternoon out of mountainous terrain in Nevada. The climb rates we addressed that they would like to see versus what they are actually getting. And then also to try to write into our SOPs that if Reno was reporting low level wind shear, we should consider that also to cover the area surrounding Iverson Ranch, which is where we're flying in and out of. The mitigation efforts for this safety report were to collaborate with Project Eagle to create acceptable conditions for afternoon summer departures and use a maximum temperature cargo packs to achieve the minimum acceptable climb gradient per the PC-12 performance manuals. And we basically came up with a graduated scale based on high temperatures in the afternoon corresponding to reduced passenger loads to make sure that the airplane had good climb rates getting out of that canyon in there. The third one we had was the fuel door left open during a quick turn. The crew caught it on a synoptic on August 30th. Mitigation efforts included publishing a quick email to everyone that there's nothing quick about a quick turn. It's your opportunity to slow down, go outside the airplane once the passengers are on board, do another walk around, take a sip of coffee, um, make sure you're all set. There's no need to rush. And in this industry, we have to be guarding constantly against rushing. And I put myself at the top of that list because it's been a feedback item for me throughout my career. So I've been trying to do a better job. And again, as a quick technique, and I'm just throwing this out there for the group, when my passenger gets on the airplane, I don't close the door. I go down the steps every single time. I don't care how much of a hurry they may be in. And I walk around that airplane one more time to make sure the chocks are pulled, there's no cones in the way, wingtips are clear, any other hazards that might have crept in the 45 minutes preceding the passengers showing up. It's an opportunity for me to slow down. And I recommend you guys all do that as well. Take the trips.
Hold on. I just want to like pause you for a second. I love the way you just said all of that part
Great.
about here's what I do. Last passenger, I walk down those stairs.
Yes.
You can hear the passion in your voice about this.
Good.
So,
Yeah. Thank you.
you
It's
know,
important. It's important for me to, a lot of the mistakes that happen in this industry are because people are rushing. People
yeah,
are people think there's this increased sense of urgency as soon as those passengers show up in the airplane. They pay for it, they're expecting a service, and they want to go. Well, yes, all those things are true, but they also want to get there safely.
yeah,
And when your fuel door is open down there and you've started engines, and now you have to shut the engines down, get out, go close the door, and get back in, you've just bought yourself a half an hour. So is it safer? Is it quicker? No, it's not. Stop. When they get on the airplane, you get off,
yeah.
walk around, take a
Stop
breath.
worrying about what other people are thinking because
Absolutely.
we don't know what they're thinking. They're
Yes,
just going to think like, oh, my pilot's like they're going to look at their watch and just like my pilot's walking down the stairs. Where's he go? And it's just like just going to do my
that's right.
last bit of my safety.
And they're
That's all.
looking out
If
that window. And if I'm on there and I'm paying those pilots to get me to point A to point B safely, I'm glad that I'm watching them walk around one more time. Like I
hmm
want to see that. Now we don't have a procedure for that. If we had a procedure for everything, our manuals would be, 10 feet
yeah.
tall. And this is more of a technique, but it's also an opportunity. I had a boss sit me down once. Me and the other
Mm.
pilot I was with, we were in New York, got overloaded, tried to rush, ended up doing something stupid on takeoff. We came back, told the whole department about it, and my boss was just like this on a Zoom. He goes, I wish you guys had just gone up in the cockpit and had a cup of coffee and just closed that door for about 5 minutes. Because if you had done that, everything would have slowed down. You would have caught this mistake. And I'm like, he's absolutely right. You know, those guys, well, they're going to get to Madrid 5 minutes later. Yeah, okay. But because of our mistake, they almost, not almost, but it was a, it was an unsafe thing. So, and
Yeah.
it was just a matter of a checklist item and a push button. These airplanes are so automated and they're so computerized. You have to make sure everything is set up properly, or else you'll get bit. So, yeah,
So I think because this is the whole point of these presentations is let's get our passengers there alive.
yeah,
And so to help them realize you walking down those stairs, this is a demonstration to our clients
mhm,
that we are a safe company and we take their safety very seriously.
excellent. I'm going to put that in there.
Good.
Yes, thank
And
you.
just make it as like your note because I think like you talking about your like how you address this, that this is a great opportunity for you to come off of the slides and just be facing everybody, look right into the camera and tell them like this is what I do. This is
Hmm.
why I do that.
Hmm.
And I believe that we should all be doing this. It's a demonstration to our clients that
Yeah,
we are taking their lives and our lives seriously, and safety is our number one concern.
right.
and then go back on.
Then go back
Under,
on.
yeah, and
Excellent.
then
I love
like
it.
just click.
Click.
Yep.
Would you like me to continue or?
Um, and well, let's go to the end.
Okay.
The
So
reason that, or where's the other slide that you felt that you like slipped in there?
yes,
That's what I
so that
wanted to
would
toss.
be, I kind of review a couple of things, just kind of company stuff that we need to be cleaning up a little bit.
Hmm.
Talk about some other things like this. I'm going to hand it over to Owen. He's going to give a couple
Your
slides.
slides look good,
Oh,
by the
thank
way.
you. Thank you very much. I try to make them
Bigger.
simple, clean, you
Yeah.
know, blue is the target, orange is the indicator. We need to worry about these two with the red arrows. Everything else looks good. I want to get the data out there. And again, these guys, I post these publicly so they can go back and look at my slides every single quarter if they want to, and they can click
Hmm.
on the links in the slides as references. And that's the other thing I really want to get through these to my group. And again, I wrote this in your because of your Voxer, um, is that I want these PowerPoint briefings to be a resource for them. Hey, what was that thing he said again about? Let me go in there and look at that. So, and at the very end of my presentation, I show where to find this as a review. Hey, go into your app, click on this. All the slideshows are right there. You can go in, click on the link. You can watch the video I talked about. You can go to the website I talked about. It's all here for you. So, yeah. So, in addition to me talking for an hour and getting this information out to everyone, I want them to make sure they see these as a resource for future
Yeah.
reference. So,
Yeah.
so yeah, we talked a little bit about this. Chris will go through his, and this is kind of what I added. This is a little bit of I need to refine it a little. I worked on
A
this
little.
morning.
Yeah. And one thing you can say when you have a lot of words on this, well, one, we need to bold some things or change color
Right.
on things. And so that's another thing that you can do is you can have alternating colors.
Okay.
Like something could be like navy blue, and then the next line is, I'm just going to say orange because I can't, like, because you got a white background, you like red does, but red also is like warning.
Yeah.
So think about alternating colors because then it actually becomes easy to read.
Pops
But
a little more.
when you have a
Okay.
lot of information,
I
and
do.
this can go to some of your other slides too, you can just say like, I know this is a little busy.
Right.
Here's what I want you to focus on.
Okay.
And that's you highlighting the information on the slide.
You're going to see a couple of those if you want to see the second half of my slideshow. I've done exactly that. Because
Good.
there is so much data, and I've gotten myself involved in some of these external committees that are providing this data, and a lot of flight departments out there don't have this. What I'm providing them, they don't have the insight on some of the stuff that we're going to talk about in here because their safety leads aren't out doing this kind of stuff. And it just so happens I got lucky enough to be involved you know, with the GE side of the flight safety record, the flight data recorder stuff that you'll see, that I've been involved in it and can present this to my guys and gals out there. So,
Nice.
um, yeah. So let me just summarize the SMS part of the presentation today. Okay. We continue to do a fantastic job. I really do. The professionalism, the, um, adherence to our operation manual is just, it's been fantastic. And I've been out on the road for the last 2 months, most of the last 2 months, and I've seen it firsthand. We are continuing to do it safely. But I think that we are facing a time right now in our department where we are seeing that increased operations tempo. We've had the PC-12 this year, which has taken a lot of effort and time, especially on the management side, away from running the operation. We're bringing on the Boeing business jet here soon. We have done a major software switch over with our scheduling program. We've had 2 pilots in training, and we've been moving one of our additional principals. So we've add all those things together with a lack of more pilots, flight attendants, maintainers, and we find ourselves kind of in a tough spot where we're doing more with less. And you can feel it out there. You can definitely feel it. What do we do about it? Well, we continue backing each other up. We keep using the safety management system. If there's something that needs to be waived, let's get the management involved right away, like we've done the last few weeks here. Keep submitting those safety reports. When you submit a safety report, it gets management's attention, and we act on it. I can tell you that personally. We take them very seriously, and we do the best we can to mitigate whatever the safety concern is. Um, And then the last thing I'll say is we do need to keep our eyes on the integration and the syncing between Vocus and my air ops, because I think some of the problems we faced have been a result of some times and differences that we're seeing between those two programs. So that's another challenge that's adding to our plate, so to speak. So it,
Okay, this slide could actually just be your notes.
okay.
Like this is like one of the like I just heard you like you're just this is like conversation. You could literally come off of
Oh,
sharing your screen.
thank you.
You can still see this so that you'll know exactly what it is that you want to say. Still, like, I mean, you have to sort of practice. Like, I mean, you gotta like look in the
Yeah,
camera. If like you can just like tell them like, hey, I just want to make sure if you see me looking away, sometimes that's something that you might want to say in the beginning. If you see me looking away, I'm just checking my notes because I want to make sure that I don't forget anything that I want to share. But that's what this slide sort of reminds me of. This would be a great opportunity to come off of slides and just share, talk,
amazing.
talk to them.
So maybe the only thing it should say here is summary, Q3 SMS summary
Yep.
in big letters, and that's it.
Yeah.
I'll just talk
It's
to,
it's
and I'll
kind of
talk.
like, well, you still need the slide.
Yeah.
So there's like as soon as you see like Q3 some SMS summary, you know enough to come off of sharing your slides
Okay.
so that way you can just advance the slide so that you still see it. Depends on
Okay.
what your setup is. But there's a lot of times where like when I'm speaking to audiences, like I'll have something like right there. I mean, a lot of like sometimes when I'm speaking, I'm a guest on podcasts, I've got sticky notes all along the top of my laptop because then it reminds me like that's one of the points that I want to make sure that's the podcast episode that I want to refer to. But it comes across as like that I just like know all this information. These are just the tricks that are actually happening behind the scenes.
Yeah, no,
So
I think
this,
what I'd prefer to do rather than stop sharing, because that'll be button pushing and it'll get flustered with it, is I'll make this Q3 summary up here. I'm sorry. I'll just make this big right here, and that'll remind me, hey, this is my summary, and then I'll just go through my talking points. I'll kind of have that over to the side.
okay,
Yeah,
okay, perfect.
excellent. And then, it's kind of a good question point in for questions about the SMS, but I feel like if I open it up then it could take away time from the rest of my slideshow. So
Hmm.
I don't think I think I'm gonna just, you know, once I say the thing about the syncing between Vocus and MyRops, I'm just gonna kind of leave it at that and say, let me just jump into the hot topics real quick and we'll get to questions here in a little bit.
Yeah,
Okay.
perfect.
And then this is kind of where I go through all of the things that I've been working on over the last quarter. Um, and I don't want I don't have to bore you with any of this. Talking about the Western Region Safety Forum. These are busy slides, but I just want you to take note of the large red dots and the arrows as to where these are at Boeing Field. If we go in there, we don't go in there a whole lot, but this is a factor. And it is one of the higher airfields on the West Coast where we see TCAS-RA events. Um, Also in Burbank, Van Nuys up in the San Fernando Valley. This is also a scatter diagram of where a lot of these elevated and high risk areas are. Most of them are on final approach to runway 16 in Van Nuys, but you've also got some other stuff over here at Burbank we need to watch out for. I'm going to delete this slide. This is stupid. And I thought about this morning, but I'm not going to. Here's a quick scattergram of the San Francisco, Oakland area. Again, most of where you would expect to see these kind of conflict areas are on final approach to those runways. And then the last thing I want to say that we reviewed for the Western Region Safety Forum is that some of the data that we can't collect through the event rates is data that we can see through other means. And an example of that is if you look on the right-hand side here, you can see that the airplane came off of the glide slope on their way to the runway. And what that tells us is that below 1,000 feet, our systems are not going to tell us that we have a traffic advisory because they are turned off by design because they want them to be silent for the last 1,000 feet of the landing. But we can see from our data that we've had a sizable number of intruders below that 1,000 foot mark. So our numbers for TCAS RAs and TAs are probably quite a bit higher. We just don't know it. Something to keep an eye out for as well, because you're not going to hear any beeps or buzzers or whistles below 1,000 feet. So it's all on you to keep your eye peeled for those traffic conflicts as we operate both in the Burbank and Van Nuys area. Kind of crazy, huh?
Well, I remember going over those slides and it's like, whoa.
Yeah, there's a
Yeah.
lot.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I'm
you
learning
don't.
a lot.
You are, and luckily, if you go to LA, you probably just go to LAX, so you don't have to worry about.
Yeah.
You probably don't have to worry about Burbank, and Burbank is actually very. These are all. We're still safe because those little red dots. That just means that our systems are working, and there's
Yeah.
conflicts and things happen, and with the thousands and thousands and thousands that flights occur each week into these airports, you know, it's really not that many, but we want to
Hmm.
keep them lower. We don't want to have any. The objective here is to not have a traffic conflict and that the ATC system is working to the point where we can cycle airplanes in and out without having these at all. It's just not that simple. With smaller airplanes and airplanes that aren't talking to ATC, we run into problems, and it's a lot about what this is about. And really, the West Coast is still not nearly as bad as Teterboro. Teterboro is my biggest worry right now in the corporate aviation industry is that the
Yeah.
next midair is going to be there. That's where
Yeah.
the next accident is going to be, is in Teterboro. And you'll see that in a minute. But just wanted to give you guys some situational awareness on some of the stuff that we talked about here in the Western Region Safety Forum. On August 12th, we had a fantastic BASC education roundtable. I'm not going to go into the nuts and bolts of it all, but the FDAP gave a great presentation. That's the Flight Attendant Drug and Alcohol Program. They're a great resource. Here's the links. Deb McCormick was the main speaker in this, and she gave an extremely candid account of what she went through as a flight attendant with regard to drug and alcohol dependency and depression. She was amazing. I would anticipate all of you to go in there and watch this. The link is on the next slide. I won't spend a whole lot of time because I know we're limited today. Basic takeaways. We have a demanding job. Flight attendants, pilots, maintainers, mental health and substance use orders often go unaddressed. And the reason they go unaddressed is because people don't know where to turn for help. And I'm here today to tell you all that this is a resource for you and that we would back anyone up here looking for help and that this is a place you can start. So there's the link. You type in this code here and copy and paste it into the page that will get you there, and you're all set. The video will start, and you can see her story. She didn't hold anything back. I was pretty amazed that she was that open about what she went through. So hopefully, if you have some time here in the next week or two, I'd encourage everybody here to take a look at that video. Um,
You nailed it.
excellent. Thank you.
That you're like you are just you're getting awesome. This is just going to be you're going to knock the socks off of the ones. They're going to be like, "Is this the Sean that I know?"
That's because I had a good coach. What can I say?
Oh, thank you. But I can just I just feel your confidence, your comfort level,
Awesome.
and and also that you're using lots of I'm going to call them notes. You're not just speaking at this like, here's my range. Like
Okay.
when you are talking passionately, like I hear like the ups and the downs. And that what that does for your audience, that's a pattern interrupt.
A
And there's
pattern
like,
interrupt.
yeah, and it's like they're gonna like, huh? What? Like it helps them pay attention to things. Especially if like they get a text message or they like, let me look at this over here. It brings them right back.
Okay. I love it. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Okay, switching on to the Teterboro Users Group back on September 17th. It was fantastic. The same Shelby Bella who addressed the Western Region Safety Forum this time talked to Teterboro. And we took the same data that we used on the West Coast and we brought it to specifically to Teterboro because we have a big problem there and everybody here knows it. The national average for TCAS RAs is 5.4 RAs per 1,000 arrivals. We're currently sitting at 37.3 per thousand arrivals. So not only is that a 6-time increase on the national average, we've also seen a 55% increase just since 2018. So we got an issue there. And I think everybody here would absolutely know that. I said, again.
You did a lot in the beginning also when we started.
But did they go away?
It did.
Okay. I'm trying.
It's
Ums have been,
okay. That's okay. Like awareness is half the battle.
right.
You didn't even catch them before. And the only reason why I didn't say anything is because you got a presentation in a couple of days.
That's fine. I'm
Yeah,
sure.
I mean, it's
This
almost
was,
like you needed to warm up,
yeah.
but if you can warm up before you actually start at 5 o'clock, 8 o'clock, whatever time it was, I forgot. That will help you. Even just like remember I was talking about that pre-event, getting your energy up, like listening to
Music.
some music, moving
Yep.
around.
Yep.
Yeah, doing something like that.
One of the things that I've done over the last year and a half is I will send my wife a Zoom invite and she'll go upstairs on her laptop and I will give her the presentation.
Nice.
And then she will take notes and she will track my ums and she will, so that is maybe what I should do is do that on maybe the day of instead of the day before. Usually I do it the day before, but I think you're right. I think if I do it the day of, it kind of really more gets me in the mode of doing it. I don't know. Maybe I'll do it both.
Yeah. But I think you
Um,
just like just getting your energy up, or maybe just looking at your presentation, starting in the middle,
right.
like a half hour before you're going to give the presentation. Then you start right from the beginning.
Okay.
It can be just that, yeah, you just need to warm up.
Hmm. Hmm. Okay. Second. So, um, this slide is super busy, but I just wanted you to see the bold daily estimates, what we could expect going in and out of Teterboro. So
Okay,
this one,
say
again,
that again. Say that again.
okay, so this one, we have a lot going on here, but if you look at in the very center, low estimate of 6 per day, high estimate of 9 per day is what we can expect at Teterboro. So again, going in there, highly, highly likely, we're going to see an increased risk of TAs and RAs in Teterboro. The
And
other,
you did not say one which is why I said do it again because you said it like you were like, okay, there's a lot going on in this. Um, it was almost like I thought you were looking off and doing
I was
something
trying
else.
to, I was doing
Yes.
something else. I got a text.
Yeah, yeah.
That's why.
So it's you're being distracted and you feel like you just have to keep saying something, but when you focus, you did it great.
Good. Last bit of breakout here involves the type of weather. So we see a huge increase during beautiful days, 47.4 basically RA events per 1,000 arrivals. If it's marginal VFR or IFR, that goes down drastically. So again, a lot of these TAs are being caused by that VFR traffic out there. The weekend warrior, the smaller airplanes that really may not know exactly where they're going are causing a lot of these problems. In addition to that, we're seeing higher airspeeds that are making our algorithms in the TCAS system kind of bark at us because if we're doing 250 knots as opposed to say 180, which is what we're supposed to be doing in that terminal environment, it's gonna give us more RAs as well. So these all things have been addressed, and it's gotten a lot of attention with both the FAA as well as all of the controllers at Teterboro and the Newark area. How are we going to fix it? This is how we're going to fix it. The blue shaded area represents potential airspace changes that would mitigate almost 90% of all of the RAs we've been experiencing here over the last, especially let's call it since 2018. So if we can get the FAA moving and once the government opens back up, if we can implement these airspace changes that we are you know asking for, this problem will be ultimately almost completely solved. So we will see what happens as we go forward. Last couple items on Teterboro, I wanted to just post up the noise abatement procedures here. If you go to the website, click on the Teterboro Airport Operations, and then go down here to the noise abatement, you can download a PDF of the noise abatement procedures at Teterboro. And the last thing I'll say is that on runway 24, departing after 10 p.m. is really where we're going to get the nasty gram from Teterboro. Later arrivals and then the helicopter getting across the Hudson should not be an issue for us if we're running late getting into Teterboro. But if we have to depart heavy, especially on runway 24, we're going to hit the naughty boy list and we'll probably get a notification. So just keep that in the back of your minds. And again, as a reference, don't be afraid to check out the noise abatement guide.
I love how
This
you just that you said that slide, especially the naughty boy list.
naughty boy list. And we do. We get three. If you look down here, if you get three notifications, they give you a two in a 2 year span.
Wow.
They kick you out. They kick you out because people are getting
Mhm.
sick, and I don't blame them. They're getting sick of people taking off at midnight or 1 o'clock in the morning,
Yeah.
right over their houses. Now, on the one hand, you bought a house in New Jersey in the busiest city in the entire world, but we can still do it smarter, right? I mean,
Yeah.
anyways.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's that. This slide is too busy, isn't it? I need to do something with this.
What is it?
This is talking about the users conference and all of I need to do something about this.
Yeah, this could be
Notes.
something. Yeah. Your notes.
Yep. Yep. Yep.
Because that's
813.5.
a lot of words that
Yep.
people are going to be reading.
You're gonna be like, what? Yeah, I need to, this is terrible.
And the way to have the slide is just to abbreviate stuff.
Okay.
Like annual users conference. That's a bullet point. Bullet point. Joe Dixon. Like,
Yep.
do you have to have the tug presenter also weighed in on the call, educating them on
No,
what? Yeah, just
no,
like that. That's almost like that's what it looks like to me. It's like that's information for you to be sharing in the, like in the audio.
right.
Because you do this and people are going to be reading this, maybe.
Maybe they're gonna be tuned
Yeah.
out.
Yeah. We
It's
don't
terrible.
want that.
Share this stuff verbally. Taking notes here too. Okay. So I need to do something about that. And I was sitting here today. I was sitting there today looking at this, going, "Yeah, I don't like it. I don't like it." And it took me till listening to you to be right here and say, "Yes, this is a couple of bullets, and that's it. That's all I need. I don't need to be dumping out all this stuff." So I will change that. Here's just a map version of what we talked about earlier. The profile view sometimes is kind of hard to visualize, but this is the area of Teterboro where we're looking at extending out that airspace. The Class Bravo shelf extension will cover 80% of our TCAS RAs, and the Class Delta, which is the rectangle down here, will cover maybe slightly less than 20% of our RAs. So by just doing these two changes to the airspace, we will see a reduction, period, because most of these RAs are being caused by that VFR traffic transiting through that airspace where you've got the high velocity jet traffic coming in, and it's just a recipe for disaster right now, and they need to change it. At the very end of the last quarterly safety meeting, I got a couple calls, and I think as we get ready to take delivery of the 737, I think we need to maybe put together a working group on slip and falls. We did see a trend in the last quarter and the quarter before that of slip and falls. We put some measures in place like non-skid tape, etc. But one of the ideas that was brought up, and I think it's great, is a one-hand policy, meaning the 737 is going to have 3 times the steps that the Gulfstreams do. So by having a one-hand policy on the railing, that will prevent people from trying to carry stuff up and down the stairs with both hands. So I think that's something we really want to take a look at. I also think we could probably have either one of the crew members at the top and one crew member at the bottom as people disembark and embark. And anyways, I'm just throwing this out to the group. We can take ideas after when we go to our safety committee meeting at the end of this, but I think it's something that we really want to keep on the radar and focus on for the next quarter as we take delivery of the Boeing. The last thing I'll talk to is the West Region Safety Forum Q4 snuck in here at the very last part of Q3. And it was presented by Matt McNeil. So similar to the flight attendant drug addiction, dependency, mental health resource that I presented earlier. This is one specifically tailored to pilots. Now all I have to do is find some space for the maintainers and we'll have the trifecta. But for now, this barcode here will get you onto his website. He was fantastic. He really gave us a lot of great information on what to look for. The biggest thing I want you to take away is that corporate pilots right now are the least protected pilot group in the entire industry with regard to mental health resources. We don't have programs that the airlines do. We don't have the resources or the union protection that the airlines do. So we're kind of on our own. And because of that, we're probably also the least served. So this resource right here is a good resource if someone is feeling like they're tapped out, maybe they're having some mental health issues, maybe they're having some addiction dependency issues. This is your guy right here. And this is a great resource. He was fantastic. All right, with that, we're going to close it
Hold on,
out.
hold on. Can you go back to that slide, please?
Yes,
I would, um, on here, I'm like scrolling like you can see me. The Let's Connect
yes,
and that web address, www.lifteffect,
yes.
capitalize the L and the A. And down where his email address is, I would do the
Uh-huh.
same thing, capital M. Like it just like when we have a capital letter at the beginning of each word, it's easier for people to read what it says and they'll remember it better.
All right, hang on one second
Mhm.
here. Let me just go back. Okay, hold on. Gosh, what's going on? Okay, let me share. I don't know why it went away here. Okay, here we go. Okay. Are you saying right here?
And also in the middle.
So lift effect right here?
No, on the bottom it says let's connect and then you have the web address.
Yes.
I would capitalize the L and the A.
See, it's from a
Oh,
PDF. Yeah,
okay. Don't worry about it then. If
can't do it.
but on his email address, like that's on the lower right-hand side, if
Like
you can
lift effect.
capitalize the M, the L, and the A in his
LA.
email address.
Oh yeah, Matt. Okay,
Yeah.
yeah, I can
And
do
it's
that.
just easier for people to read.
Matt at lift effect.
Nice.
I just have to do this. A. There we go. Okay.
He's
Love
even
it.
got a podcast. Nice.
Right.
Lots of resources for people.
I know, right? Um, and that's basically it. Again, I really want everyone to think of these PowerPoints as a resource, as something you can go back and reference throughout the year. I hope I provided a lot of good information in here. Click on your SMS tile right here. Go to the document library, all docs, quarterly safety meetings, and you'll see them all in there. Every single one I've done is in there. And our target for the next meeting is going to be Q4 of 2025, is going to be 11 a.m. Pacific on December 18th. I will send out the calendar and Zoom invitations early in November.
Nice. This is why we go over this.
Why we go over.
In early November. Nice.
All right, now the moment you've all been waiting for. Our Q3 quarterly safety award winner is going to be none other than
Dun dun dun.
Kathleen
Kathleen.
K. In recognition of KK's contributions and participation in the BCH safety program. Huge thank you for helping us operate safer. We had a great safety reporting and hotel safety focus lesson learned because of her unfortunate experience, but nevertheless, thank you for sharing with us all and bringing hotel safety back to the forefront. KK, your $300 Visa gift card is in the mail.
That almost sounds funny. It's in the mail.
In the mail. But they
Trust
really do
us.
get it. They really do get it.
I believe it. I just love it's in the mail. It's on its way.
On its way. You've done great, kid. Keep it up.
Oh, I love it.
And that's the Q&A. And you said on the last one that I should summarize after the Q&A. So we take the Q&A and you want me to summarize not the whole presentation, but just what people have asked and how
Yeah.
we're going to go
Yeah.
about it? Or do you want me to do both?
Well, it's nice to have the Q&A as like part of the presentation and not the very end of the presentation because I always want you to be in the event that somebody ever asks a question. And this may not be something that you want to do for this situation, but if you're ever speaking at like some sort of an association and you are taking questions, you want your close to be after the Q&A. So the Q&A is actually in your presentation so that you are always the last thing that the audience hears and not somebody's question. I have heard people ask questions and it had nothing to do with what they were presenting on. And the
Right.
speaker's like, I don't know how to answer that. And half of the audience is like, I can't believe like he didn't know what the answer to that question. They weren't even listening to the question. So that's for you to decide. That's almost like an advanced tip.
Yeah, no, I mean, I like that. Hmm.
And it can be something that, you know what, like I'm gonna improve, like I'm doing this like this presentation this way, and next
Hmm.
time like I'm gonna make it a little bit better and then a little bit better.
Right. Well, I'm going to keep it here in bold and revisit. Yeah, because you said one of the what I wrote down is okay. Okay, we got time for two more questions, and then okay, and then I want to close out by just saying, okay, hey, ops tempo, limited resources, keep pressing on, keep watching out for each other. Maybe I should take that summary and move it to the very end, huh?
Don't put any shit in the safe.
Don't put don't put
Don't
your
put any.
passport in the safe like every other normal human being would do.
No kidding. Jeez.
Yes. So I was at a hotel in Italy in Trieste last week, and I'm like, I went on a day trip. I put everything in my backpack. I took it with me,
Yeah.
because they clearly are going in there looking for stuff. It's all the hotel employees that are in there.
Yes.
Um, it's and we were not at a Marriott because the town we were in, Trieste, didn't have. They had one Marriott property that it looked terrible and it was way out on the outskirts of town. So we wanted to stay downtown. It turned out this was a lovely hotel and no one did anything, but you just never know.
That
They took
just
the
that,
whole safe.
that
They
just
took the
blows
whole.
my mind.
I know. It's crazy.
Like, aren't there cameras in the hallway? Like, people,
They don't, they don't
thieves
care.
are not
Yeah.
very smart.
Did you hear about the Louvre? I just heard about this morning.
Yes, I saw that this morning when I was at the gym. I was just like, there are people who are just like, oh yeah, I can get that.
Hold my beer. Yeah.
Yes. Oh my God. So this is so different than the first time you presented to me.
Thank you. I'm glad.
You've done really well. Kate is already
Oh,
here.
Kate is there. Oh, we're out of time. We've gone beyond. I'm sorry. I took you
No,
10 minutes
no.
after.
No, I always go an hour with you.
Okay. Quick question for you.
Yeah.
Before I let you go, would you be able to send me the completion certificate so I can submit my expense?
Yes,
Even
yes.
though we have one left?
Yeah,
And
absolutely.
I'll book it maybe maybe we can maybe the next week sometime we can close it out, revisit how it went.
Yeah. But send me your thoughts afterwards. I want to
Okay.
hear like Friday morning
Okay.
about your presentation.
Okay.
And just to let you know, I will be gone the first week of November. So if you feel like scheduling something next week doesn't work very well for your schedule, like just know I'm just going to be gone that first week of November.
Okay. Next week's going to be
Okay.
great for me because I don't think I have anything except for you. So I'll be able to focus on it and then maybe get things in gear for Q4. So that'd be awesome.
Okay.
All right, LA.
You are
Thanks so
gonna
much.
do, you're gonna do fabulous. They are
Okay.
gonna like, they're not gonna know what the hell hit them.
Wow. Okay.
All right. I'll talk to you later.
Okay. Bye-bye.
Bye.